What's up, everybody? And welcome to Base JT. Excuse me, this is my very first episode. I'm your host, JT. We cover a whole lot of topics on this channel. I mean, we'll be doing everything from conspiracy theories to ancient civilizations, ancient history, deep state, false flag operations, black budget programs. I mean, we got everything here, alright? So, if you're with that, then hit that subscribe button, because I would love it. So, anyways, let's get to the program.
CIA might be spying on them. If you want more untold spy files like this one, make sure you subscribe, because today we re-diving into secrets that even the world's most powerful men were afraid to admit. From Eisenhower to Kennedy, Nixon to Reagan, Clinton to Bush, each commander-in-chief carried the weight of America on their shoulders. Yet, just down the hall lurked a force they couldn't fully control. The Central Intelligence Agency wasn't just an arm of government. It was an invisible hand, pulling strings, collecting whispers, and sometimes even watching the very men it was sworn to serve. The Oval Office has always been painted as a symbol of supreme power, a room where presidents make decisions that shape history. But hidden in the shadows of that same room, there existed an unspoken fear. Was the CIA, America's intelligence giant, keeping secrets not just from enemies abroad.
Are you serious? Ever since before it was the CIA, when it was the OSS, I mean, they were a problem. Honestly, I think they just need to do away with the well, don't get rid of spook programs, but dissolve the CIA into another, another budget, another department. I don't know.
But from the very leader of the United States, let's rewind to the early years. The Cold War, 1950s. President Dwight D. Eisenhower, the decorated general who defeated Hitler, now faced a new kind of battlefield. Espionage. While Eisenhower publicly supported the CIA, he quietly worried about how much influence this young agency was building. Just 3
He wasn't stupid.
years earlier, in 1953, the CIA had secretly staged a coup in Iran, overthrowing Prime Minister Mohammad Mossadegh. They didn't just report intelligence, they created reality. Eisenhower knew even back then that the CIA wasn't just collecting secrets, it was rewriting history. And if they could overthrow a government overseas, what would stop them from bending the will of a president at home? Eisenhower kept his distance. He let CIA Director Allen Dulles run operations with almost unchecked freedom. But Dulles was no ordinary bureaucrat. He was calculating, cunning, and already one of the most powerful men in Washington. Presidents would come and go, but Dulles and the CIA, they were the constants. In quiet moments, Eisenhower reportedly admitted to aides that the CIA was becoming a government within a government. Imagine being the leader of the whole world, yet feeling a shadow government working right behind your back. It wasn't wrong to worry, because the very next president, John F. Kennedy, would learn that the CIA could keep deadly secrets from him. The Bay of Pigs invasion in 1961 was supposed to be Kennedy's first victory. Instead, it became his first nightmare. CIA officers
doing what he said he was going to do.
A clean operation. Cuban exiles landing on the beaches, toppling Fidel Castro and restoring democracy. But what Kennedy didn't know was that the CIA had already planned the invasion in a way that almost guaranteed disaster, because they were counting on Kennedy being forced to call in the U.S. military to save the operation. When Kennedy refused, the CIA's plan collapsed, leaving the president humiliated. Kennedy felt betrayed. He fired Allen Dulles, but even then, he knew.
Here we go. Sorry, my Wi-Fi's going. Come on, I apologize. This is fucking crazy. Yeah. Go back at it. At least I think we are. Come on. Shut the fuck up.
It didn't forgive, and it didn't forget.
Okay.
In
There we
private, Kennedy told friends he wanted to splinter the CIA into 1,000
Throw it
pieces
to the wind.
and scatter it to the winds. But here's the chilling part. Less than 2 years later, Kennedy was dead in Dallas. And though the official story blames Lee Harvey Oswald, questions
right.
still linger because some of the very files Kennedy wanted exposed remain locked away even today. Now pause and think about that. The President of the United States, the most powerful man in the world, felt like a target of his own intelligence agency. How safe would you feel knowing the CIA had dossiers on everything? Conversations, your affairs, your weaknesses, because that's exactly what they kept. Let's move forward to Richard Nixon, a man obsessed with power, control, and secrecy. Nixon understood espionage better than most presidents. But here's the twist. He
was a
didn't
quaker.
trust the CIA at all. He believed they
He
were
was
watching
smart.
him just as much as he was watching them. Declassified documents later revealed that Nixon frequently clashed with CIA directors, accusing them of hiding intelligence. He even tried to replace them with loyalists, because deep down, he feared the CIA had its own agenda. And Nixon's paranoia wasn't baseless. In 1972, during the Watergate scandal, the burglars who broke into the Democratic headquarters weren't just low-level thugs. They had deep ties to the CIA. Nixon desperately tried to use the CIA to cover up the break-in, ordering them to block the FBI's investigation. But here's the kicker. Instead of protecting him, the CIA let Nixon fall. Some historians argue it wasn't just the tapes that brought him down. It was the CIA quietly pulling its support, allowing the president to be consumed by his own scandal. Nixon resigned, isolated, convinced that the spooks had a hand in his downfall.
Yeah.
Fast forward to Ronald Reagan.
Yep.
Outwardly, Reagan looked
There he
like a
is.
Cold War
That's my
hawk,
boy.
fully aligned with the CIA. But behind the curtain, even he wasn't immune to the agency's games. The Iran-Contra affair in the 1980s revealed that CIA operatives had been running weapons deals behind Congress SBAC,
What's his name?
to rebel fighters in Nicaragua.
Lieutenant
Reagan
Colonel.
claimed he didn't know the full extent, and maybe.
What was his name?
But ask yourself,
Ollie
how is it
North.
possible
That
the
dude was
most
a real
powerful man
patriot,
in the
and they
world
fucked
could be
him
kept in the
so
dark
bad.
about his own government operations?
Yeah. A lieutenant colonel is gonna be in charge of all that. Come on.
Presidents only saw what the agency wanted them to see. By the 1990s, Bill Clinton faced the same invisible
So where's the little
He
girls
grieved
from?
daily, but insiders say Clinton often felt frustrated that the CIA gave him fragments instead of the full picture. The
Because they
Monica
knew.
Lewinsky scandal
I was just
consumed
gonna
his
say that.
presidency. But what the public didn't see was how intelligence agencies quietly continued their own shadow wars. Regardless of what Clinton thought, the machinery of espionage never stopped for a president's troubles. And then came George W. Bush, and perhaps the most haunting example.
Yeah, former CIA director.
Just months
Oh,
before
great,
9/11,
George Bush Jr.,
the
never mind.
CIA issued warnings. Bin Laden determined to strike in the U.S.
Yeah, because they met with him.
Those warnings were vague, buried in reports,
Just like-
overshadowed by layers of bureaucracy. Did
Never
the
mind.
CIA fail to connect the dots, or did they
Of course, it was all
enough
just
detail that the president
random.
act?
I know.
Even years later, the truth is murky. But for Bush, the worst day of his presidency
traitor.
wasn't just
He
about
belongs in
foreign
Gitmo.
things. It was about wondering
Him
whether the
and,
intelligence empire
Dick's
answered to
dead,
him
too.
had failed him, or something darker. Think about this for a second. From Eisenhower to Bush, one theme
Looks like
is
two
constant.
Kennedys.
The CIA knew more than the president. They controlled secrets,
A Woodrow Wilson,
games,
Mike
and
Pence,
sometimes they even
a
manipulated
White
the very
Barack.
office they were supposed to serve. Imagine being the most powerful man in the world, but
Barry
not the most
Soetoro, I
influential.
mean.
That's the real story of the CIA and the Oval Office. And here's where our journey begins. Because what I've just told you, that's only the surface. In the chapters to come, we'll uncover the declassified files, the betrayals, the whispered conversation.
Alright, well, anyways, this is part 1. Come back and check me out. Let me know what you think. Let me know. I know it's a little shitty. It's still my first episode. So I apologize. But it will be getting better. So please, like, share, subscribe. I would love you till the end of time, alright? Peace.